think it's time for brass tacks. I think we have to figure out an order here. That's what everyone needs and wants. They're demanding this because we're gonna have to come back at the end of the year and score this nonsense, right? We're gonna have to figure out.
There's a name we're leaving off, Ben. I know it's a tough one.
Is it really? Are we really leaving him off? I mean, you can, if you want, Cody. When you have the platform to list your ballot, you can just put him fourth, like I know you want to. Like I know you just want to. Maybe he'll be fourth, like he is every year in Defensive Player of the Year.
We're not talking about the same person, Ben.
Ben. Okay.
Reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr.
I mentioned him and Smart are on the same team. We had the whole.
We didn't talk about his case though.
So are you gonna have Bam fourth? That's what I want to know.
No, I actually don't have Bam in my top 5. I don't.
Okay. Yes, last year, Jaren Jackson Jr. won Defensive Player of the Year, barely over Brook Lopez. Evan Mobley came in third. I point this out to say that Evan Mobley is the second favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is the third favorite. I do think it gets interesting with Memphis if they win like 36 games or something. Mm-hmm. What does that do for a candidacy? Let's say they have a good defense. What does that do for a candidacy like this, especially with Marcus Smart also joining the team? What do you think? Sell me on. Are you going to have him in your top 5?
Well, I don't think I'll have Smart. I don't right now. I think their defense has to be like incredible for both of them to be in there, and I think Jaren Jackson is just going to absorb a lot of those votes. But I think narrative-wise, Ben, I feel like there weren't a lot of kind words about Jaren after the overseas, the international play over the summer. I think a lot of people were like really angry about the rebounding thing. I think people are getting more attuned to like the fouling thing and him playing like, I don't know, 29 minutes a game because he's getting his 5th foul in the first 7 minutes of the game. But I mean, like in general, this is the guy that just won Defensive Player of the Year, and he looks, I don't know, Ben, can you explain to me why the Grizzlies defense isn't as good as it should be given the talent that's out there?
What talent?
Yeah. Jaren and Smart, like, Bane's a good defensive player. Like, I feel like, I don't know, they basically have the same starters. I guess Steven Adams probably added quite a bit of juice to their defense, but even he didn't play a ton of minutes last year. I just don't understand why their defense isn't better than what it has started off with.
I mean, it's okay. It's in the top half of the league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that even in a small sample like this, the challenge Memphis is having is you lose all your depth. This is what we've talked about. You lose all the extra players. And I think that adds up on both ends of the court. The offense doesn't make the game as easy for the defense. You have more empty possessions. It's harder to score in the NBA against a set defense. Okay. So that means when your offense is good and you're scoring, then your defense is set. When your offense is struggling, the other team's getting out in transition. When you're turning the ball over, the other team's getting out in transition. So I think their defense is still fine. It looks fine to me. I think it'll be okay during the course of the season. I think I would be more surprised if the defense sort of fell apart, if you will, than any other result with the team. There's so many question marks with this team about players coming back from injury and the rotation and what happens when John Morant gets back. And the thing that would really surprise me is if the defense fell off. So I think the defense is, for those guys in particular, Smart and Jaren Jackson, is still pretty strong. I just think you're right. I just don't know if the narrative is going to be there if the team is kind of insignificant.
Thanks for listening. You can find the full episode of this Thinking Basketball podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy podcasts.